The knock came just after midnight. Daniel wasn't expecting anyone, especially not in the middle of a thunderstorm. He had just put his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, to bed after convincing her that half a peanut butter sandwich was enough for dinner. It wasn't, but it was all they had left. The electricity had already flickered twice that evening, and Daniel was silently praying it wouldn't go out completely, because the rent was overdue, and if the landlord decided to check the meter again, they'd be in the dark by morning. Then came the knock. Soft at first, then louder. Daniel froze. Nobody ever knocked at this hour, unless it was bad news. He walked slowly toward the door, careful not to wake Lily, and peered through the peehole. A woman stood outside, drenched from the rain. Her hair clung to her face, and her clothes were soaked through. But what caught his attention wasn't her appearance, it was the little girl beside her. She looked pale, too pale. Her tiny body trembled violently as she coughed into her sleeve. Daniel opened the door just a crack. "Yes?" The woman hesitated before speaking. "I'm sorry to bother you so late, but my daughter is sick. Our car broke down a few miles back and there's no signal anywhere. We've been walking for almost an hour. Could we please just stay somewhere warm for the night?" Daniel looked past her into the storm. Lightning cracked across the sky. The little girl coughed again, harder this time. He didn't even think. "Come in." They stepped inside quickly. The woman kept thanking him over and over, her voice shaking, not just from the cold, but from something else. Fear. Daniel handed them the only 2 dry towels he owned. "I'm sorry, I don't have much," he said quietly. "This is more than enough," she replied, wrapping her daughter in the towel like she was something fragile. Lily stirred in the next room. "Daddy?" Daniel walked over and knelt beside her bed. "It's okay, sweetheart. Go back to sleep." But when Lily saw the little girl standing in the living room, she sat up. "Is she okay?" The woman's daughter tried to smile. "I'm just a little cold." Lily reached over to her nightstand and grabbed her favorite blanket. "You can have this." Daniel watched in silence as Lily wrapped it around the stranger's daughter without hesitation. Kids didn't understand money, or status, or risk. They just understood kindness. That night, Daniel made them all soup from the last can he had in the cupboard. He lied and told Lily he wasn't hungry, so there would be enough for everyone else. Around 3 a.m., the little girl's cough got worse. Daniel found an old thermometer and checked her temperature. "We need to get her to a hospital," he said. The woman shook her head. "We can't, not yet." Daniel didn't ask why, he just grabbed his jacket. "I'll drive." His car barely made it past 40 miles per hour, but it was enough. At the hospital, Daniel filled out the paperwork using his own name because the woman insisted on remaining anonymous. Hours later, a doctor approached them. "She has pneumonia," he said. "If you had waited any longer, it could have been fatal." The woman broke down in tears. "You saved her," she whispered to Daniel. He shook his head. "I just opened the door." The next morning, when Daniel returned home to grab Lily's school bag, a black SUV was parked outside his house. Then another. Men in suits stepped out. One of them approached Daniel carefully. "Mr. Reeves?" Daniel stiffened. "Yes?" The man smiled politely. "My employer would like to thank you for your generosity last night." Before Daniel could respond, the same woman from the storm stepped out of the second vehicle. Except now, she looked different. Clean, composed, confident. "Daniel," she said softly, "I owe you an explanation." It turned out her name was Victoria Hale, CEO of Hale Industries, net worth $3.2 billion. She had been traveling quietly with her daughter after receiving threats tied to a corporate legal battle. When their car broke down in the storm, they had nowhere else to go, except the first house with a light on. Yours. Daniel looked at his peeling front door, at the rusted mailbox, at the rent notice taped to the window. "You stayed here?" Victoria smiled gently. "You gave my daughter your own child's blanket." Weeks later, Daniel received a call, a job offer, a scholarship for Lily, medical coverage, and a brand new home. But when reporters asked Victoria why she helped a stranger, she gave a simple answer: because he helped us first when he thought we were nobody. Sometimes, the door you open for a stranger is the one that changes your life forever.